All right. Hey, guys. Hope everybody's having a good morning so far. Looking back, obviously, a disappointing loss versus Tulane. Like I said, post-game, we didn't play well in any three phases of the game, and that was still evident watching the film. Some things we got to do a better job of, just executing the plan. Our guys know there were some missed assignments out there, lack of execution, 1,000 other things, but got to continue to improve. I think our team understands that, that the performance we put out there is not what we want to show, and won't give us a chance versus a good Houston team. Looking ahead to Houston, obviously a very talented team, another team that's going to be coming off having an extra week to prepare for us. I think they're now the fifth or sixth team that's had an extra week to prepare for us. So who knows what the heck we're going to get. We're watching film that's almost a month old now. What they'll do offensive, defensively, and special teams. So we got to be prepared for it. They're a well-coached team, very explosive. Their quarterback is running more than he has in the past and does so at a high level. I went back and watched the television copy of their game versus South Florida early this morning. You watch that opening drive. They run a GT counter for 15 yards. Then the quarterback keeps it off the GT counter for 15 yards, and then they throw a 28-yard post for a touchdown. So they're quite explosive on offense. They got one of the best defensive ends in the country, and Peyton Turner. They're a well-rounded team with a lot of speed, and we're going to have our hands full Saturday morning.
Evan, first question.
Ryan, on your show yesterday, you mentioned how you said the roster was down to 53 scholarship players. If you could you elaborate? Is that just more because of the opt-outs, or is there more injuries than we were aware of as of last week?
Yeah, so we dressed 53 scholarship players for the game at Tulane. That we still have more scholarship players on our team, but who we choose to travel, who decides to dress, we have had injury issues and issues concerned and opt-outs. It's just the nature of it. I mean, if a guy chooses to opt out today, they're able to do so due to COVID concerns, and I respect that, and I have to go along with that. It's part of the day of age of college football. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. I don't know if that number's going to increase at all as the year goes on. Obviously, we got one more regular season game and a bowl game, so. Yeah, we're getting close to low numbers there, but we're also going to do things like I told you guys, to have the guys on the field that we feel like give us the best chance to win.
With that, do you feel as if, that's kind of just, again, I know you don't want to make excuses, but at this point, how challenging is it when you go into a game and you barely have a threshold that in the SEC is like the bare minimum for what's able to compete with?
No excuses. Is it difficult? Sure. I mean, if we were to line up against Stephen F. Austin, they would have more scholarship players dressed out than we would have. But that's where we're at right now. As you guys well know, I've been fortunate to be a part of the staff. Now this is 5 years here. But there's some things that need to be changed. And part of that's roster management. And that will, as we've talked about every week as we sit down on Mondays, right, is trying to find the right guys that fit the culture and what we want to do as a program moving forward.
So just to be clear, you said that you dressed 53, but you could have more than 53 available because that was the travel roster. Is that correct?
That is correct. Now our conference is allowing you to dress travel with 72 players, but even at that point, we didn't even take the full 72.
Cassie?
Hey, Coach, Brady White talked about how, for him personally, he didn't want to speak for the team, but he wants to play in a bowl game. Do you get that same sense from all the rest of the locker room, or at this point, do you become concerned with kind of the attitude and approach with the rest of the guys?
No, Brady, I think, speaks for 98% of this ball club in this program. He has a good pulse of what we want. He absolutely wants to play in a bowl game. We absolutely want to coach in a bowl game. We can't wait for that opportunity. We know that we got to take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time approach, and we got a great Houston opponent coming. So that's where our focus is. But I'm very candid, Cassie, as I've told you guys in the past with our team and discussed what we need to do, and we need to continue to link up with our roster being what it is. You're seeing throughout the country. I've talked to head coaches who have told me their teams have quit. And I know for a fact our team hasn't quit. They're still fighting, even though the conference championship's no longer in play. Our guys have a lot of pride in representing not only themselves, the name on the front of their jersey, but the name on the back of their jersey the right way. So We'll be excited to play in whatever bowl we have the honor to be able to play in, but we know we got a big task ahead this Saturday.
Stephen?
Hey Ryan, how's it going?
Good, Steven. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Now that you had a couple days just to watch some film, what are some ways the team, we talked a little bit about after the Tulane game about some of the issues with the blocking. What are some ways the team can improve, not just the O-line, but also the skill guys when they're tasked to block as well?
Yeah, Steven, it's a great question. We've now started 4 different running backs in the backfield this season, and that's just part of it. I was going back and watching our game versus even Houston last year, and I looked in the very first play of the game, right? You got 2 running backs that are no longer with us. And then the next play, it was, Patrick Taylor's in there. So you had Kenny Gainwell, Antonio Gibson, Patrick Taylor were the running backs in that game. So like I said, we're a different roster. I've made no bones about it that the offensive line has to continue to improve the run blocking. I was very displeased with the tight ends blocking. I let them know that the tight ends did not do a good enough job in the run blocking on Saturday versus Tulane, and that's an issue, and we've got to improve that. And then you talk about wide receivers blocking on the perimeter. That's got to be part of it as well. So often it may be a nickel or Sam that comes off the edge and makes a tackle for a loss or a 1-yard gain. Those are all things that we need to do. Like I said, we got to execute better. We got to put our guys in a better situation to execute the run game, and we're constantly searching for good answers. But we're also going to take what the defense gives us. We were able to take a few more shots down the field, and Calvin's playing at an awesome elite level, and he'll be the first to tell you, man, if he was able to catch 2 or more of those shots down the field, maybe having a different conversation today. But we got things, that's what I've been doing all morning, and last night he's trying to find ways to run the football.
You talked a little bit about these teams having at least 1 extra week to prepare for you guys. On the flip side, how difficult is for you guys to game plan when I think Tulane almost had a month off, Houston's having maybe close to a month off? How difficult is the game plan for a team that hasn't played in 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, so, Stephen, it's one thing, and we get asked, I think I was asked this question a couple of weeks, right? Ryan, is it better to have a team that's coming in that's playing a bunch of games so you have film and know what you're getting, or a team that's off? Let's not say, I don't want to play if they have COVID and it's an advantage to us and vice versa, but most of our teams that we have faced, and again, don't quote me on this, but most of them have had their opponent had a COVID issue, so they were able to still practice. So it wasn't like they were necessarily sitting around on their couches for 2 weeks and then all of a sudden thrown into the mix. So it has been different, right? We've lined up and teams have shown us different things. So we've had to try to adjust different personnel. Like I said, you're watching film that's, a month ago, and you're trying to figure out, okay, who's playing, who's where, what are they doing? Anytime you give an opponent that much time, they're going to change some stuff up. They're going to be able to do some self-scout, figure out what they can do a little bit better. But for us, like I said, so much of the focus on us, Stephen, this year is just trying to find ways to improve ourselves 1 week at a time. And that's why sometimes we're trying to see, okay, what are they going to do offensively? What are they going to do defensively? And then special teams, and then try to formulate our plan and how we go about the game to see what they're actually going to give us.
Terry?
How you doing, Coach?
Good, Terry. How are you?
No, life is good, man. Hey, man, how did you go by, with this game coming up, could be very well your last game of the season, hopefully not. How would you go by evaluating the season, considering this is not the team you started the season with, and how you're ending up? How would you evaluate your season, going forward? Or how can you evaluate it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, biggest thing you want to see in any year is improvement every single week. And I'm not happy because I don't think we've seen the steadily improvement and climb week by week. And that's one of those things we've got to find ways to fix, right? I want to see a team that's going to get stronger and better and play more efficiently in all 3 phases of the season going on. I don't think that's something we've been able to do. Now, we've had some certain issues and faced certain adversity with the numbers, right? As Evan had just mentioned, we are down to numbers, and we got guys playing in different spots. But the one thing, like I said, Terry, that I'll be able to hang my hat on is regardless of how this season ends up, again, assuming that we get to play 1 more after Houston, and regardless of what happens, I do know these young men in that locker room, the ones that are here, love each other, they battle. they fight, they're tough. They believe in the way we're going to do things, and they're going to do it the right way. So that I'm proud of. I think the resiliency, you talk about some of the things that as a benchmark team that they've able to do. Ultimately, we're always judged by our wins and losses. And I get that. I'm not, a fool to realize that's not how I'll constantly be judged here. But I'm proud of the resiliency of this group. And I know that that's something we'll be all hanging our hats on.
Clayton?
Hey, Coach, I believe both you and Brady had kind of alluded to in post game, but today we just saw the 10th FBS Bowl be canceled this year. Now 33 left. How concerned are you about having a successful bowl season as a whole, not just your program? And what does a bowl game in this year do for you in terms of evaluating this year with so many other factors in?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Clayton, I haven't even thought about a bowl game other than you guys bringing it up right now. Is it discussions I've had with Laird Veach and the powers that be? Absolutely. But really our focus needs to be on playing Houston and control what we control. That's, if there's anything 2020 taught us, control what we control, especially in college football. So we could very well be announced for a bowl game later this week, and then things can change and that bowl game may get canceled. So that's the reality that we're facing. That's why I said I'm so proud of our young men and their steadfast approach to just saying, hey, whatever happens, happens. And that's all they can do. Right now, they can focus on, the Monday being their off day, making sure they're living right and taking care of their bodies. So we can go out and have a good Tuesday practice. And then, the same approach to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and kick off hopefully at 11 a.m., which we know that could change also. This weekend. So we're just kind of one day at a time, Clayton. But if we do have the opportunity to play in a bowl game, I think it's pretty clear that it'd be important for us to try to find a way to win that game. I know that sounds stupid to say, but we know the history of what's occurred here the last few years in our bowl games, and we haven't been pleased with it. And we got to find a way. So one game at a time. If we have the opportunity to play in a bowl game, I think it's going to be important. Like you said, Brady and I have both at least discussed that topic with you guys, and it's just something that hopefully we can discuss more. Exact time, 11:42 on December 14th, next Monday morning, and discuss in full and have some plans.
Evan?
Speaking of Brady, Ryan, have you given some thought that this could be the last home game for not just him, but for this senior group? Obviously, you had senior day, but has that just kind of crossed your mind that while some guys have a chance to come back, there's a chance this could be it? And kind of what would that mean for this group? Kind of looking back at what they've accomplished.
Yeah, Evan, it's a special group. I mean, this is a group that should get so much credit for so much of the success that the program has occurred, right? And I've been so fortunate to be around most of these guys during their career here. And so a lot of them I've got a special bond with and special memories with, and a great appreciation for everything they've done. I mean, I'm so grateful for many of these student athletes poured their heart and soul into this program. And, obviously it's good for them to have the success on the field, but I know that most of these young men will have success in their life after football because hopefully we instilled something in them. And we talked about it. I talked to the seniors about it yesterday. I said, hey, this is the last opportunity to defend your home. How much does liberty mean to you? How special is that? And I think that allows them to have a sense of, yeah, you're right. We are, not only do we need to play for pride and the opportunity to go out there and play the game that we love, but a chance to, one last time to defend our home turf. And this is a group that will always be remembered. It should go down in Memphis legacy because of what they were able to accomplish.
And with that legacy, speaking of Brady, I think you mentioned a month ago just kind of what he means to this program. But, if this is his last home game, obviously no decision has been made, but just in your words from watching him these last 3 years, what does he mean to what this program has accomplished, and what stands out to you just seeing how he's become the leader, the face, and as you said, the guy who has the pulse of the team when he speaks?
Yeah, Brady is everything you could possibly want in a college football player. He does it right in every way, shape, and form. Not only is he a winner on the field with his attitude, his approach, his work ethic, the way he studies the game. Obviously have a fantastic career here at Memphis as a quarterback and a leader with a ton of wins and a ton of wonderful statistics. and has accomplished so much. But then you guys have had the opportunity to get to know Brady, know the type of young man he is, and he is top of the charts. I mean, he checks every box that you could possibly want in a young man. I don't have any kids, but if I ever have a son, I hope he's like Brady White, and I think that's the highest compliment you could ever pay anybody, because he is that type of man, and what he's meant to this program it's astronomical. You can't put it into words. He's a special young man, and certainly has meant the world to this program.
Cassie?
Coach, when you talk about opt-outs and numbers and everything, could you give a ballpark about how many players probably are seeing time that never thought they would see time at the beginning of the season?
Quite a bit. I mean, there's, I'm sure like a lot of you guys are having to do a double take and say, wait, who is this? Why is he out there? And that's part of it, Cassie. You always hope that you can use your full roster, right? And you want young guys to be able to play. There are certain individuals that are playing more so this year than they probably even thought so themselves. Yes. I mean, there's guys getting on the plane that were on our trip to New Orleans that probably had no dreams or imaginations of being able to be on the travel squad. And that's part of it. Our numbers, a little bit higher maybe than the average. I don't know. I know for a fact that a lot of coaches don't want it out there as public information because they think it maybe looks poorly upon their program. But I also, like I've told you guys, I also respect some of these young men's privacy. I don't know why. Obviously, the opt-out's there for COVID reasons, so I'm assuming that's why they do so. But, others have had, even before people were opting out, people that talked to me as this pandemic was occurring of things that were going on in their lives, personal lives that I've chosen to respect and keep out of the media just for the protection of our student athletes. But to circle back to your answer, Cassie, there's a lot of guys playing that we probably didn't expect at the beginning of the year, but I'm glad it will bode well for the future of our program.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.